All right. Um, yeah, I'm just going to continue off where I was yesterday, work on a little bit more UI. Let's see what we got here. I got to figure out what I want to do. I don't always go in with a plan. Just go to a battle. We're doing pretty good on the Switch menu. I could polish up the individual buttons on it, texture them, but actually, that's less important if the functionality there. Like I said last time, I wanted to put in the place the animation for it, so like right here when they pop up, let me full screen that. Oh. So like the individual buttons don't have a texture, but the functionality is right. Could do. Hold on. This is could be a little smaller here. Okay. Right. Um. Yeah, I guess the one I could put a placeholder for is the graphic whenever we don't have a party member in one of these boxes. But other than that, I think I'd like to move on for now to making another menu actually functional. So, okay, that one is not done. Let's see, what do we got? Yeah, okay. As a placeholder, it's functional, but it's real ugly. And then I should probably work on the items menu. It was just assembled off of like I think these buttons are just the same buttons as these, and they don't even have, but they don't have like the right code in them to have these buttons pop out. I don't even want the buttons. I like replaced the selector, and it happened to be, I believe it's using a scene from another menu. I'm gonna want to have it be like a scrolling wheel, or not a wheel, but if you have more than that area filled out. So um, we'll populate the inventory with like fake items. I haven't coded in any more items other than like basic potions into the game, but we'll populate it with some fake ones, and then we'll see how we can get it to display only a certain amount, and then scroll through them so that you can keep selecting. All right. Um, what do we got for items? So let me take a look at the item code. Because I don't know if I have a tag for them to be like key items yet. I think I was saving that to figure out if I mean, every game of this type needs key items, but I haven't devised any because I haven't designed the levels. Let's see. What do we got? Item. Or oh, I said I10. Item. Okay, so let's just hide that for now. Okay, for any item, there's like a cost, time to use it. There is a description, a name, the target type, and what they sell for, like a base type. I should probably put in a flag that they're a key item right now. Although that might be an enum, because there might be more than one like tab in your inventory in the field or something like that. But what I want to do is inside the battle menu when I'm populating it, I don't want to populate it if it is a key item. So we should at least have that flag right now. So we'll make a target item class enum. So normal item and key item will be our basic style. Because it could be a Boolean, but for key item, but we need to make sure that that's all we want. I'm not sure if it's all we want. Right. Okay. So then if we load up, say a potion. Okay, we don't see that yet. Not sure, sometimes it doesn't refresh. If you add a new property to it, it doesn't necessarily show up in the inspector right away. Let's see if there's a way to fix that. Okay. I guess like reloading the script didn't work, but slapping it back in there did. But that doesn't seem to be the case for potion. Also, instead of Boolean to update. Hi. Hi, Machine Angels. How's it going? Glad you were able to make it. I am updating the UI, or building out the UI. So, let me just show right here. Yesterday's stream, I went into the switch menu. What time is it for you? Yeah, it's a bit tough, the UI. 7 a.m. Yeah, that is pretty early. For me, it's a bit of a late start. I was like about 45 minutes later than I was going to start, so it would have been 6:15 for you. But I'm glad you're here. You don't have to force yourself to wake up that early, though. But I'm glad you caught one. Last stream, I was working on the UI. So I was in this switch menu where you're switching party members. Yeah, I had to run an errand for about an hour. The thing that's missing here is a graphic to block off these default ones that say hello when there's no party member in them. But I kind of textured out this back panel here, and then have been updating these boxes and updating the animation so it like pops up and has a little outline, that like light blue card that sort of covers up the one up top, or also it's more to like cover up this top row so that when this just raises up and is flush with this border here, that it isn't as like awkward looking. I'm not sure about like fully the blue card that I put in the background, like, but having it sort of light up and pop up has been pretty nice. I'm trying to work on items because I just put in some like default buttons I had for some other UI element. and just slapped them in there. But I'm gonna populate with some the switch menu a bit pale looking. Yeah, the I think maybe the red panel is in the background. It's a little hard to see with like this orange wood I have in this scene and these like purple snakes. It all kind of looks reddish and like all middle tones. So I want to do something further to kind of make it stand out. It probably would in like a different scene. Like let's say I had grass in the background and some other different minions going on, but on hover, like the buttons themselves. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make the like texture and colors of them more like custom. But like the background I was working on yesterday, and then these are more placeholder, like they might be more detailed, but if the color values need to come down a bit to be a bit darker, then I can do that as well. The skills menu, this is all placeholder. I usually work out the shape of the UI and then put in graphics and replace things. And then the items is like real bad. I just left it go because it's not just going to be a list like the skills, because the skills are capped at 8. And I'm probably going to have to implement some kind of like scrolling in the items in case you have, say, 100 different types of items or something crazy like that. So that's what I'm thinking through right now. I'm just populating. I'm working on a bit of item code, and I'm going to populate it with some fake items because I just have potions and mega potions in the game, which even is probably not the final name. I just wanted 2 different types of items. There might be a scroll box, but would it work with keyboard and mouse? Because like I have these keys set up to be like analogous to a controller because I'm imagining like clicking through menus like that. I like I can't click on anything. It's kind of designed to be a controller, and then like I'm playing it on a keyboard, but I could hook up a controller and play it, and then I want to, once the game is more developed, like make a keyboard and mouse version of it where I can like click on the buttons and then it selects. But for right now, scrolling through these is just like up and down. Like cancel B button out of it, like A go into a menu. So if the scrolling is like click and drag to scroll, then I might need to implement some. Although I could probably just have it check input and then set it to like the next level down. Let's see what they got. I haven't really used it. Let's go to the battle scene. Yeah, the like framework for the whole game could have been better thought out. I didn't really plan. I just kind of do things. But yeah, I want to have a keyboard and mouse version. I guess I'm primarily thinking of it as like primarily playable on a controller, but I guess just because that's a lot of the type of games I play, like, or I even on computer prefer to play with controller a lot of the time for like if it's a JRPG, but a lot of JRPGs I play on console. Um, where are we? The item menu. It's not gonna go right there, but scroll container, or maybe V scroll bar. Am I sure that Godot doesn't support keyboard and mouse and controller at the same time? I think it does. It's just, I mean, I don't know what best practices are, like how other people make games like this, but like I'm thinking if I'm designing it a certain way where I press up and down to go up and down a menu, um, then somebody playing on a keyboard and mouse is like hovering over a button. Um, oh, yeah. Where is my? There it is. They're hovering over this button and then it's selecting that. Um, then I would have to put in some different stuff, but let's see what a V scroll bar does. Where do I have it? Okay. So I'm guessing I populate it with, let's see, where's my item button? Item cycler button. Yeah, I mean, I pretty quickly moved on to controller. Let's see if this shows up. I don't know which windows show up in my capture when I get them, but project settings. I might just have to capture that. Just add that capture for the settings window, and I'll see what I got here. It's not very big. There we go. Oh, right, it's on this screen. Okay. Wait, is controller? Oh, input map. Okay. Yeah, so I've got like you just assign the controls, like I'll name them up, down, left, right, and then you can assign both the joypad button, D-pad up for all devices. So that should work with like your standard controllers of any kind, and then like the A on my keyboard. And then when I go into my code, it'll like if input is up or like input just pressed down is up, or if it's strafe right, pause, select, cancel, crouch. So then I could add like keyboard and mouse inputs. What engine do you use, by the way? I actually was downloading Gravity's Brutal last night. I went to go download it and itch.io was down. And then I downloaded it last night. I haven't got to play it yet, but I'll probably play it later today. I'm back. All right. Let's see. I'll just make sure Machine Angels is still here before I explain what just happened. Ah, there you are. Okay. Yeah, so I everything slows down if my laptop is like 5% or lower, and I usually have to plug everything in when I'm streaming, and um because I'm running it off a laptop and I forgot the charger. So I apologize for that. Now that I'm plugged in, it should be able to run. No issues. I was actually in a little bit of a rush to get on because I knew that you were going to attend today, so I rushed it a bit. But yeah, um, yeah, no, I wanted to do the stream because I'm like, hey, I got someone who is waiting and they're have been engaging with my stuff, and that's great. Like I'm gonna be there, and then I forgot the charger. I'm just testing out this scroll bar because you mentioned that it had this scrolling. I don't know how this works yet. Because it looks like it's not like a, what do you call it, a V, just a V box where it like arranges those elements vertically automatically. In fact, I don't know why it's V if you have to put the positions yourself. Like, what's vertical about it? Because it seems I have to. Oh, which one am I looking at? Put in the position of them. Put a V box inside the scroll box. Try that. Um, what properties does this V scroller have? Step. Oh, 2 pixel. Okay, that's a pixel. Um, oh, this is what step we're on. Hmm. Page value. Okay. Let me pull up the documentation for that too. Oh, okay. You didn't hear that part. Yeah, itch.io was down last night, so I went to try to download it, but I did end up downloading it like last thing last night. Um, and then I wanted to stream this morning, but I'm gonna play it later today. Yeah, I'm excited to check it out. Okay, so V scroll bar, vertical scroll bar that goes from top, mid, to bottom, max. It's a vertical scroll bar typically used to navigate through content that extends beyond the visible height of a control. It's range-based control and goes from top, min to bottom max. Note that this direction is the opposite of these sliders. Oh, is that all it says? Okay, but it inherits from scroll bar. So we got okay. That's clicking increments. So I guess what I want is like not necessarily scroll like you would on a web page where you can stop at any point in between, but I'm gonna want those steps to be exactly aligned with the button so that when it goes up and it is if the height is 4 buttons, then you see exactly 4 buttons. I did like when I first started Godot, somebody had like an 11-hour tutorial and I watched all of it. And then I started making my game. But I think I need to like refresh myself on just looking at how more documentation and tutorials on how specific things work. That to how your scroll box behaves, so you can either have the button flag until you over scroll or be centered. Okay. Just move this around. Testing it. Now what is this? Probably the style of it. Okay, so that this is like without interfaces. Yeah, it doesn't have interfaces. There's certain things about Godot that are simpler to use, but there are things about the language that bother me. I kind of wish that I had it set up to do C sharp from the start, and yeah, it doesn't have interfaces, and I actually don't like that it doesn't force you to have the type for variables. It's good to put them in anyway, but it doesn't enforce it. And interface. I'm trying to think of an example where I had to get around it, but yeah, I mean, just clicking around to try to find an example of something. It would have been better to have interfaces because I think even UI, some of my stuff is like I did just have it inherit some stuff from a super class, and then I realized like I wanted to overwrite it, and I was like rewriting a bunch of code, so maybe like a subclass inherited some things, and then I realized it doesn't really work the way the parent does, and I would rather maybe have like some of the lower down ones like implement an interface, but I think I do have to rewrite code a lot. Global event signal and then check by the type. I mean, you can definitely, there are ways of like emulating interfaces, but you would probably have to think of it like right at the beginning. And like I think the tough thing with trying to emulate a feature that you want that your language doesn't have is like if it's not enforcing it, you have to be consistent. Like, I am kind of committed to what I'm doing, but as much I got into Godot. I haven't made a game before. I jumped into making a game like around the time that there was that controversy about Unity, and everybody was kind of off it because of the changes to the model where they were going to charge people or whatever it was. I didn't have a stake in that because I wasn't making a game, but I was like, if I'm gonna start, and Godot's getting really popular, might as well try it out. And I do like it, but coming from some other programming, I don't like that it doesn't enforce type. And then it there are certain things about it that make me want to learn Unity. I think Unreal might be overkill, but I don't want to jump ship in the middle of a game. That's the thing. I do wish I would have, because I know some C sharp, or I used to know some C sharp. It was like the first language I ever learned, and then I did everything through like college that we never used it again. So I wanted to refresh. I wish I would have, on one hand, like set it up to use C sharp instead of Godot's script, but Godot's script is like easier to use in Godot. It just plays better together. So if I was going to use C sharp, I would just use Unity. But you use Unreal, right? You said. And but yeah, and then you have like a 3D game. Mine is 3D, but it's like no physics or anything really. Like like the environments out in the dungeon. I was like, you could make a 2D dungeon crawler like that, but I might as well just have you like navigate through blocks. But like moving your player camera and just having it adhere to the behavior you want is easier to like code yourself. Um, I don't know much about physics in games or like really fancy graphics. And I think there's a lot packaged in Unreal, but I would like to learn it someday. I think Unity might be if I made a second game, and Unreal might be if I made a third game. Although Unreal's probably if I made a game in a team. What's I doing here? I need to check possibly the inventory. I want to initialize it with like some dummy items. I can't remember if I just put them in. Maybe I put them in the save manager by default, just loaded up with some items to start with. Hello, maybe. Because I had put in some default values and like initializing a save file that I could test with. Oh yeah, okay. I added a bunch. See, this is sloppy. I add them by like a string, and then I think when I use them, I just like check the string with the item that it is. Thank you, TBD Gamer. Oh, is this a raid? I don't even know how this works. I'm so new to streaming. Thank you. Does that mean people are coming over? I don't know how that works. let's like make up some item names because I think I can put in whatever I want and then it checks if there's an item with that name and then uses that effect. Uh, yeah, I'm working on my game. I'll show it here. I'll show it in full screen. So it's like a dungeon crawler. You got the 3D environment here, but this is more like a testing ground of just like I slapped some awesome. Thank you. Um yeah, like level mechanics that I was testing out. Like this spike trap is kind of a well, I didn't get to walk into it because I got a random encounter. Um and then this is a battle. Turn-based dungeon crawler. If you've played Shin Megami Tensei, you can recruit party members from enemies. So like right here, I have a blank one that I haven't put in a graphic for. I don't know what type of enemy it is. But then there's like a knight. There's a shepherd. And the idea is behind it is I wanted to make a game similar to Shin Megami Tensei. You recruit your party members. You can combine them together to make new ones, but instead of monsters that fuse together to other monsters, yes, I did make the animations. That you could combine, that the enemies you fight would all be humanoid and they'd be based on like sort of classes in traditional RPGs, and that if you get like a multi-class in Dungeons and Dragons, but you would get them from combining classes that kind of make sense. So let's say you want like a fire mage. You would have some type of like basic class that just uses like little fire attacks, and then you combine it with a mage, and then you get a fire mage. Or you combine a knight and a cleric, and then you get a paladin. So to get these multi-classes, you're sort of bashing humanoid recruits together to make a multi-class. So that's like, you know, multi-classes in D&D. That's I always liked. I remember seeing like back in the day there was like if you played Fire Emblem and they have like promotion classes, and there in some games there was like branching ones you could do. I remember like on the old Nintendo forums, people would make graphics of like fan made classes, and there, somebody was making like these branching trees of like a ton of different classes. So I always liked having a lot of classes, and like I always like distinction between like semantically what's the difference between a mage and a wizard and a warlock and a witch. Like what is, if you wanted to have the most number of classes in a game, what makes them all different mechanically? And then the other thing, actually I'll move the chat a little bit. This is a temporary graphic here. The it's like a clock, and the turn order in this game, I said it's like Shin Megami Tensei, but I didn't want to rip off the press turn system, because I think it's very good, but I didn't want to just take it wholesale. So what this is instead is when it's on the green side, it's on your turn. I'm going to fix the graphic. I'm going to make it fancier, but when it's on the green side, it's on your turn. Moves take a certain amount of time. So you don't necessarily pick all of your party members and they each get a move. You could maybe only have time to do like this guy does one big move, and it takes more time. And it takes a certain number of units of time. It crosses over to their side, and once it crosses the middle line, then it's the enemy's turn. So if you do a big move, that's you, like if you're here and you have 2 until it hits 0, you could use a move that takes like 9 units of time and end up somewhere here. But then they can use a big move, or multiple party members of the enemy side can use a move. And then the other mechanic is all these snakes that you see, they're like summoned. So like things that are smaller than the humanoid enemies you're fighting. Yeah, Kazamius. I'll be forthcoming with you. It is the system from the Digimon card game, because I was looking for something different. I had the just basic turn based in there, like you pick a move and then it's their turn and whatever. When I was prototyping, I'm still prototyping, but yeah, no, I just happened to play it and I was like ripping it off, but let me sell you on this. It's different in a video game than a card game because I just thought use the same time mechanic, but you have all these different ways you can express it with like JRPG moves instead of, you know, playing cards. The snakes you see are like little minions. Everybody can have like 6. There should be like 4 slots on our side. Yeah, I might have to move that again. Four slots on our side for there to be 6 of them, and some of them are dead now because I have played this battle out for a second. And then they can have 6. You can have a whole bunch, but the reason I have these minions are like, you know, if I wanted the maximum number of expressiveness to express lots of different classes. So when I have something like a druid, you know, they summon animals. I don't want it to just be like put in functions for a move that are it does it and then it's over in one turn and it's, I don't know, they summoned a big animal and it did a big attack and it functionally works exactly the same as a fireball, but we call it a wolf. I wanted it to be different. So summons, there's classes that are going to be based on summons and there's going to be all sorts of different types. And thank you, Machine Angels. It is really cool. I hope so. Part of the reason I have these summons too is I wanted it to solve the problem of, for example, snakes. The more you build up, the more chance that they have to passively poison the enemy at the beginning of your turn. They'll try to do an action based on how many you have. And I think that solved the problem in JRPGs of like, you want all these different builds to be possible, but in a lot of JRPGs, they don't let you do certain status effects, especially on bosses. And I'm thinking, okay, let's say I want a class whose whole thing is that they put people to sleep. They're a sleep mage or something. A lot of JRPGs, they would not let you put a boss to sleep because it trivializes the fight. And I was thinking, if you want that to be possible, it's harder if you just have a move that has a 30% chance to put a boss to sleep and it works on a boss and then a third of the time the fight is trivialized. But if you make it like points that you have to build up, like you have to have a certain number of snakes do poison, I have sheep for sleep. That's why a shepherd is a class, because they summon sheep. If you work towards it, I should let you put a boss to sleep. If you have to spend turns and manage resources to do it. If you click a button and you have a 30-40% chance, yeah, as a game designer, I might be tempted to shut it off and be like, oh, this boss is immune to sleep, and like also half the bosses in the game are immune to sleep, and I'm not going to tell you which ones, you have to figure it out, and you would never know if you didn't read a guide. I want, for the most part, every status effect and debuff to be possible on a boss, and I want them to still be kind of hard. That's the design behind the minions, is that they're a way to build up the potential for a status effect and like break some sort of threshold, but they should work. Just making up items to populate a list because I'm going to be working on the item menu. it's all made up. Um, so yeah. What am I gonna do here? I think I might need to reload the game for that to take effect, though. So let me just turn that off for a second and reload and see where we're at. The item menu is really ugly. I didn't work on. Yeah. So I'll just fix up my capture. Almost done. It's like very like in progress prototype. And I did take like not a break, I was working on stuff, but like a 3 month I was not like online very much. Because I was learning. I spent like a month learning to not learning to do music. I'm not good at it, but I was learning like music theory. But well, I'll get to that. But I now that I'm back, I don't remember if I put in fake items if they will show up. No, it crashes. Okay, because the items don't exist. I to put in dummy items, I have to actually put in dummy items into the code. Uh, yeah. Okay, that I didn't think of that. I thought I did have to, because I can put them in as just a string, but they do have to exist because it checks that. Anyway, so I forgot stuff like that because I took about 3 months off of like really working on it. UI is tough, and it was a bit demotivating, and there was just stuff I was like, I don't want to do that right now, man. But plugging away at little bits and pieces, and then I took a month to like learn a lot of music theory to be like, if I had to make some of my own music, like I wasn't gonna have money to hire somebody, then I could do that, or at least if I did hire some a little bit, and I could fill in the gaps. Um, and then when you're making a game like this, it's gonna be a thought in the back of your mind of like, I started it. I'm like, it's something I can work on. I can put it on my resume. I might find a job in the games industry someday, and not being ever like quite sure like how serious it was. I'm like, am I doing it? Am I keeping on doing it because I've been doing it, or is it a resume piece? And as soon as I get a job, I won't be able to do it anymore, or what? So I did take about a month being like, okay, most of what I know because I've been doing this is related to making games, so I'll apply to jobs in the games industry. Maybe I should learn like C++ or whatever. That has nothing to do with my game, but I spent about a month doing that, and then started to come back to the game and being like, I should be more active, and um but I like changed my strategy. I was posting like video devlogs on YouTube, and I wanted to make it so that like streaming has been working better for me. I've done in the past like 2 weeks, like I think this is my fourth stream, and that's been a lot more motivating. I think it's fun to have people around, and it holds me accountable where I'm like, I can't not work today because if I'm online and people pop by and see me not working, like I can't do that, and it's gonna be a VOD. So there's only a few people, but it still makes me want to do something every day on it, and it's a lot more fun when people pop by. So I need to check what kind of items I have here. By the way, you can catch glimpses of like all of the classes I have an idea for. Big list. They're all placeholders right now, but I had an items folder. Yep. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I guess I would just have to. I guess I'll just have to put in dummy ones that are. I think if I added like another row that just said like potion 3, it would not be another entry. I think I do have it where it would add so to the count that already exists. So I do have to have like new items to have an item box that like scrolls past what I actually planned for. So I will have to make a bunch of fake items real quick, but where's duplicate? You can't just like copy, but you can duplicate. So yeah, I'll have to make them all up. Antidote. I think even if the inspector they have the name potion, I think it goes by file name, so I might just be able to like make this work anyway. They can even maybe have the potion script attached, and I can just delete all these fake items later. I'm hoping that's how it works. Anyway, if I type any of these wrong and it doesn't load, then it will crash. But if I can just get scenes in with these items, I believe it will work. Because all I'm doing, all I want to do is like work on the item menu so that it scrolls through. Yeah, the good thing is if I make this here, I should be able to use the similar, maybe change the style, but like the same code in the pause menu. Oh yeah, I haven't played it yet. Like I said, I'm gonna, but I remember you said it was about throwing items. So yeah, I'm sure you've had to deal with that. Oh, the one you're currently working on. Right. Okay. Right. Yep. How many items is this? I want to make sure I have enough that like. So I think my skills have 8. Yeah, they do. And then I wanted just for the sake of it, like I want everything about each submenu to be like different enough that you can tell at a glance what you're looking at. So even just a row shorter, like I want it to occupy roughly the same space, but just a row shorter so it's like your eye will be able to tell. Like there'll be different color and texture, but also contrast between the size. So I think 7 rows of items, and I might be able to fit one on each side and have like 2 columns. So I need to have more than 14 to be able to test scrolling. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I need to make up like 20 items. Yeah, let me check the item code and I'll let you know how it actually. Okay. So when I want to use an item on a target, specific use target. Okay. This isn't the super class, it's just a default, but then each item has its own specific use. Oh, wait. No, something calls that. Okay, so that would be how it's used from the item menu. Um, maybe item confirm menu. No, item cycler. Okay, check inputs is when I like hit select on like a sub menu with a bunch of options. Okay, so it's assigned the item name, same as the button, and then it loads that item, and then where is it? Okay, when I check it, oh, okay, wait. Is it cycler? Confirm. Okay, if the action just pressed its select, await player stats.inventory.use item. Inventory use item. Okay, so I pass. This is probably a bad way to do it. The player holds an inventory, and that's an object, and then it has a function called use item that takes the item as a string, loads that item. Do I load the item twice? Actually, that's bad. I think I might have done it on the item confirm menu. I think I have to change them all to leather shirt and leather boots and leather everything. I have to change them to unique items because it will just like add the number to the previous entry. So yeah, okay. So the inventory, if I pass it the name of an item, I think it just stores. So it just stores a dictionary of string, the item name, and how many you have. It is not like how my skills work because the skills do exist as objects like within the list that's already populated. And then you like call their functions. But when you use it, then it will like load up that item and then well, depending on how many people it targets, it'll just call the items like use function, which has some overhead and then like a specific use depending on its effect. Yeah, it's still a prototype. Like the battle system's not done, and I mean you've seen the level. I'm really focusing on like getting the battle system down, and then like once that in place, putting in levels and stuff. But I mean, the core of an RPG is the battle system, so the prototype's not done because that's not done, and I will have to refactor a lot. Yeah, wait, let me check that though. So I load it when the inventory uses an item, it loads the item to find it instantiates that object and then uses its effect. And then the item confirm menu. No, it was item menu cycler. Do I even need to do that? Load the item. I load the item just to check its targeting type. That's all I'm doing. Probably not great. Probably not the best way to do it. Yeah, I've spent a couple whole days refactoring some stuff earlier on, and it's necessary sometimes, but it also makes me just want to keep making new stuff and slapping things on top. That would be a lot better if it had been refactored, but like you're kind of spend a day refactoring and then actually like breaking it while you're doing it, and then hoping like first half of the day breaking stuff and then second half of the day hoping you can fix it properly and not end the day with like your game worse than you started. Then it's tough to want to do sometimes. Yeah, I mean, the skills could have worked this way where they're just based on name and then you load them up whenever you need to use their properties and functions, but I think I thought better. I just made these two systems kind of separately, but like skills and items honestly should just inherit a lot of the same behavior. Like using an item should be like using a skill that just happens to have the flavor of an item. So they could even inherit from. I think that's an example of an interface that I would have liked to have. Is like there are certain things about items and skills that are exactly the same, and I would have loved to package them in an interface, but there are other reasons why I couldn't. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That is the example I think I was reaching for. This conversation is making me realize Godot is fine and usable and fun to use and lightweight and approachable, but it it would be a lot more clean if it kind of demands you have a lot of your game planned out beforehand, which I did not because I mean I'm like writing my game design document that I have alongside making the game, and 'cause I didn't know it was gonna go in it, and I never made a UI before, so like I'm it's an ambitious game to make. I guess it's my first one, and like no finalized design document. Like my design document started with ideas, and then I'm trying to write down concrete stuff as I go, but like not having enough experience to like it's easier for me to just do it, but also a pain when you need to fix things. Yeah, I mean you never have it all planned out. That's true. I think the thing that is really going to get me across the finish line eventually is I'm loving streaming it while I'm working because it's like clocking into a job and being like, I will work today, I will do it. Because especially with like, family stuff and what I was always making reasons why I'm like, I don't have a lot of time to do it today, so I'm just not gonna do it. But I'm able to put 3 hours in quite a few days now. And the UI, which there are certain things about it that I didn't want to do 3 months ago, I'm like excited about and are making progress. They're just very tangled, and I'm worried that like watching me untangle it isn't always the most interesting thing to do, but um, I'm hoping to get a lot of that out of the way. If I have to do a big refactor, I'm not doing that on stream. Nobody wants to see that. But trying to untangle and like try to make new things at least making progress now. Well, maybe you're built different. I mean, I might do it anyway because if I'm here, the whole point of streaming is like if I'm doing it, I might as well like engage with people while I'm doing it. So honestly, for me, it's like it doesn't even matter if like a certain stream is boring or whatever. Like the people who want to be here will come hang out, and if not, that's cool. Yeah, I was doing that, and then I just kind of got really into like the UI has to be done. Like not polished, but like functional. Because I left it so buggy, like tangled, really tangled. It's gonna be fun when I get to do like animations for all the abilities, because a lot of them will just say on screen what they did for now, but just well, that's good. Glad to hear that. I see it as more of like a hangout, you know. I'm working and I like it when people are around. Getting into a battle. I just added all those items. If I had a typo, it's gonna crash. So I need to make sure that doesn't happen. But if they're all correct, then I should have a big ugly list that I need to make look pretty. Okay, there we go. So the idea is that instead of this massive list, I can even move it up because it's longer than that. Um, here, this was not that one. Just remove that for now. But the item cycler list itself. Okay, yeah. So I guess that just moves the buttons. What did I do? It's hard. It's a little hard to check in the inspector because this is like populated with buttons. So I need to check in the code like what. I think it's just item cycler button. But oh, it's not a scroller anymore. Or I never had it as a scroller. I put one up in the corner when I was like testing it when we were talking about it, but this one's not a scroll. Yeah, not yet. That's what I'm working on. So yeah, it's an item cycler button, but they have the same style as the buttons that are in the player control panel where you have your attack, skills, item, switch, and run button. But these okay, no, okay. I did make them their own scene player controls panel cycler, but I think I just put in the same graphic in item cycler button. And that's good because I would have to like change some stuff if I had used it anywhere else, but luckily that's not the case. Oh, I guess it's a label. And then well, why I don't know why the text is so far over. Horizontal alignment left, maybe. Oh, why'd they shift all the way up here? That's screwy. Maybe if I cancel out. Oh, yeah. It slides in, so I guess I have even though I repositioned it, it has code that tells it what position to go in finally. Huh. Let me check that. Yeah. We're gonna want. We'll just put it way up high, and maybe move. Maybe a little farther over. So then when I reload it, yeah, okay, it should be way up there. Even it's even longer. Well, maybe 50. I'm not sure why the text is so far over. Because it's like a label, and then I just put a texture behind it. I did it like a super lazy way. But then yeah, I mean, even then, I type in potion, and it's here. What's wrong with this? We got a problem. It might be something I can see in this UI sort of. This is like the control layer of the UI, but this battle scene also has like the 3D like background. I got the camera in there, the enemies pop up like here, and then I have like torches on the side. And like this whole scene will be like swapped out for different environments based on which like random encounter and like what area you were in when you encountered it. So it could be, different floors of the dungeon or environments or whatever. Yeah. I just kind of populated this with whatever blocks I already had made. Like I have a wallpaper one for the bedroom that I have in the sort of overworld, and some bricks, some wood. But yeah, so the idea would be like, this box is not enemy groups. That would be inside. Okay, I think this is all UI. Oh, just test dungeon map. Okay, that's what I called it. But the idea would be, I switch out test dungeon map with any of whatever number of variations I have. So like you encounter it in a sewer level, I'll swap it out with some sewer background. And then okay, so we're item menu. I populate it with the item buttons. And then for some reason their text is like way over to the right. See, it's a bit weird that, okay, so I have the tree is a bit messed up and it causes me problems. This is called the player control panel, which is its own node here. And then all of its submenus are on the same level as it. So they're not nested in. Like this they're just treated like other menus. So this player control panel will like hide itself, and then one of these will pop up, but they're like lateral moves. So it's kind of reaching across. Like this player control panel, it's like whichever one of these buttons you select, then go and do something with one of these menus. So when I'm looking at some of the behavior of the items menu, some of it actually comes from here, when it's starting up. So it just changes, yeah, so it changes the item button name to the item. Oh, okay. Okay, that's confusing. Item button dot name is, I believe, the label. Hmm. God. Okay. Oh, it has a, okay. Not, it's not the label, but it stores the name as a string. How would you do that in Unreal? What's different about it? Like if the background is like an object in the scene and you just want to hot swap them, is that something a bit difficult to do? Or I wouldn't hot swap them in the middle of a scene. I would just load the scene with that variant. So it's like the background of like a JRPG battle, like what we're seeing in the screen. But when I load the scene, I could load it with like a different variant of that. Okay, so yeah, so I set the text of this to whatever I want. And it's like the item name and then times the count of how many items you have. Can't figure out why. Let me just check player cycler or some type of cycler button that I player control panel cycler button has the peg on and peg off, which is like these pegs down here. And I think I had copied that over, or I made a variant that I was custom to that, and it was, I think the texture was the same because it was originally an item cycler button, and then I changed it. So this item cycler button does not need a peg on and peg off function. Could have sublevels in Unreal, and you could technically just decide which one you want to be visible or not, but they would all be loaded into memory. But it's more meant for streaming in parts of the level. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, no, the way I want to do it, I guess they would all be loaded into memory too. I mean, I definitely could just make it its own scene. Hmm. No, I don't have to load them all into memory. I would have to make them like a separate scene, and then okay. So if I did this in the editor, where yeah, let's right down here. This is just one that I made. If this was a node that had a bunch of sub nodes that are all different environments, I could like hide and show them, and then it would be all loaded into memory. Yeah, you don't, right? Because what I could do is take all of those nodes, hide them as scenes, and then have this like parent node pull in the one I want before the full scene is loaded. Yeah, so I don't have to load them all into memory. If the node is on the tree and it's like in this scene and I load all of this and all of the nodes were in this tree, then I would, but I can just instantiate one of them, yeah. Yeah. That's probably the best way to do it. Although they are very, very lightweight. Like, I don't think it would be. It's a very small box. I don't think it would be a huge performance hit if I just had them loaded, but. And honestly, when you're talking about a JRPG, not a big 3D game in like a big 3D environment, but a JRPG where most of the game you're going into battle, out of battle, into battle, out of battle. I could preload the battle theme and then just give it a reset. I mean, I am actually instantiating like a new battle theme whenever you go into a random encounter, but what I could do is just preload the battle theme and preload all of it. And it's like you're loading maybe 20 backgrounds, but everything else about the system works exactly the same, and you just reset values whenever you leave a battle. I don't know if that's really more efficient, but because it's quite a small, it's like a grid of 3D blocks, and you might see 50 of them on screen, but they're all just cubes, pretty much, except for the torches. What I'll have to do is just try to figure out why this text is shifted over so much by... I can just drop some in here. Yeah, I think if I had that many, I think modern computers, like, it would not be an issue. But if I were to do that, I might just preload. Like when you load the game up, it's like the battle system is in and you are in and out of it all the time, but look, the background might be swapped before it actually pulls you into the battle. Hmm. Because the item menu cycler. Okay. That's very strange. I don't know why it's not using the like dimensions of the text box in the. Maybe they stretch. They might just stretch. Oh. Yeah, that probably just stretch. I'm guessing that's the reason. But anyway. Battle scene. See, I thought that what I just did was have it be left justified, but this is not. Hmm. And I think I want to have the number and the um, text be two different labels so I can have one left justified and one right justified so the numbers are all aligned. And maybe have the like X numbers of items like down one line, no matter how many digits there are. But I can adjust that later for each individual button. What I need to do yeah, change this cycler for one of those scrollers. I just need to figure out how that works. Hmm. And also, yeah, the question of I need to have, well, based on the width of this, I think I want to have two columns. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Yeah. So if that's the width of a button, and I don't think I need to show much more information besides the count, and the description will pop up on the side of whatever one you're hovering over, I think I can just fit two here, and that's good. And that can be a little more compact, and you can see more items at once. Um, let me see. Might have to put a grid container in a scroll container, if that makes sense. Hmm. Yeah, and it would have to be a grid with two columns to start with, and then maybe I can put that in a scroll where I can, but each one, the second element would have to be, well, I guess it would be even and odd indexes, and then based on that, I can tell whether I can move down to the next row. Where is that? It's way up there. All right. Um, yeah, I want two columns. Where's the separation? Yeah. So like something like that. That would pop up with all your items, and then it'd be like about that width. The buttons themselves might be a little wider because I have room to accommodate it, and then the item names could be a little longer. Oh yeah, I guess I want to see how tall I want it. Somehow I ended up with a more compact skill list. I guess I have no separation between them. I think the rows might be a little smaller, but that's not too big a deal. But what I had thought originally was like having maybe a maximum of 7, but even 6 might be comparable to what you're seeing over here. I can't remember if the maybe the Y value is a little higher when it's actually like in. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. Yeah, this one's probably a bit higher. So it probably goes up to like here. I could do seven rows actually. be like that. This is actually sitting a little bit higher. And then this would have some sort of a background to it. And then we're scrolling through. Well, I was just thinking of it occupying the same space, but with like 14 options on screen. I don't know. It looks a little unbalanced. It looks a little too tall to me. Six rows. That feels like a manageable item menu. 6 rows, you get 12 options, and then you scroll through. Oh, probably need a little bit of there'd be a visual scroller on the side, so probably leave a little bit of room to accommodate that. You know, right here, some sort of indicator of how far down the list you are. Yeah, should be. Now, what's the difference between a scroll container and a scroll bar? A scroll container used to provide scroll bars to a child control when needed. And this just is one. I mean, I think you can probably do H and V at the same time with a scroll container, but I don't need to do H because, like, yes, you can tab over left and right, but you're not scrolling past that. So that's probably okay. Probably just the V then. See what do we got here. Okay, so this is the scroller, and then you like adjust this as a child of it, something like that. So what? So if you have like a large population of these, because I'm seeing all of them right now, but I know this value is 1 to 100 and it's scrolling. Just trying to figure out like where do I set like removing the top elements and showing the bottom elements, or let's see. I want to hide some of the children of a scroll bar. Overflow it. Okay. The only thing is I don't know what the maximum is. I don't know if there is a maximum. Right? Like I think right now I can just go on forever. There must be because yeah, this grid container can't get smaller than what I've put in it. As far as I can tell. Let's see. Grid container that has, I found a Reddit thread. Grid container that has a scroll bar in it. Well, yeah, try scrolling, but the scroll bar value is like how scrolled it is. So if I do 50, like this changes, but what about page? What is this? I should hover over this. Page size, mainly used for scroll bar. Scroll bar's length is its size multiplied by page over the difference of min value and max value. What step? Yeah, doesn't seem to be, but I mean, I'm not sure how this quite works. Maybe it's grid container that I can change something that it doesn't show, or it can be smaller than what I've put in it, but we could let's check out what a scroll container does. Oh, okay, that's not showing something, so that's interesting. Ah, okay, it's scroll container. Um, so the scroll bar is literally just a visual scroll bar. I can probably like make custom behavior myself and have a scrolling bar, but the scroll container will do what you expect. That seems to be what we're talking about here. So then, um, what option do we have here? Scroll. Okay. Yeah, so the description for scroll container said like it provides scroll bars when needed, and it is doing a vertical one here. I think. Oh, I don't want to move whatever that was. That was the whole screen. How do I get a horizontal one? Oh, I do have a horizontal one. Okay, so it provides the horizontal scroll bar when it's too small, and then I don't need it anymore and it disappears. If this was long enough, then it doesn't need to provide the scroll bar anymore. But the scroll bar itself is just literally the meter that you can set to be 50% or whatever, and then provide your own custom behavior. I get it now. So we're gonna want that's like 6, but um, this is off screen. Yeah, the left side is cut off, and we want to figure out how to find the scroll bar that's stored in it, like change its style, move it around, because it just happens to be over here. It should, yeah, it should have a scroll bar like in it. as like an object that's stored as a property, that I should be able to change its style and all that. Okay, it's on Reddit. Well, customizing vertical scroll bar of scroll container. How can I change the size and color? We'll need to make a theme and change the content margin of the custom style box. Okay. We'll worry about styling after. I want to like draw a sprite for it too and all that. Like I would like yeah, like a button that sort of slides down, which might just be something I have to like overlay on top. I might be able to I might just have to cover this up with my own to like put a sprite and then just have its Y value match what's going on here. All right. Scroll dead zone. What's that? There's a step. But I don't see the options. Yeah, I don't I want to access directly the scroll bar um because like I had for the other scroll bar, I want to be able to set its step or like access it. This theme overrides, but there's um okay, it has methods to get the vertical scroll bar, which so I can maybe do some stuff in code. Hmm. Okay. Oh, apparently, so these ones are automatic. I guess I could put my own scroll bar on the side and you can share the range between them. So I can access that one. Oh, and these are cut off because the graphic on the item buttons is like off of the well the theme is empty. And even like making a new one doesn't seem to have a scroll bar in it. Hmm. Not really sure. Well, let's first of all, I'm going to adjust this because this texture is just way over here, and well, that's the selector that used to be like a little arrow. Yeah, this is annoying. Because yeah, I want to be able to see where I have the text, but I kind of have to adjust the graphics relative to that. But it's fine. Okay. I was hoping that that would. It's just cutting off for some reason. Yeah, I didn't upgrade to the recent one yet. Or did I? Am I? Godot 4.1. Godot 4 is the most recent. I thought I didn't do that. I thought I had Godot 3. Oh, 4.4. Yeah, I guess I'm 4.1. I guess I did at some point get 4 because I think I started with 3 and I don't even remember doing that. Um um these buttons, what do I have? Okay, so when they're selected, well, their selector turns on, which is just that like tab or whatever, but that let me just check here. So instead of populating this cycler, we would want to do it where a lot of that code would end up here. So the item menu cycler, God, I'm trying to figure out what translates. We have a V cycler menu, and then I guess I should make one that's like a grid cycler. Well, what do I want? Okay, yeah. So the reason I call it like a cycler menu is if you go past the bottom, then it like goes back up to the top, and I guess left and right. Yeah, so I guess I'll just combine V cycler and H cycler. They should have similar behavior. It's just that there's the additional scrolling aspect of it. So a lot of the code should translate, but I need to make like a grid cycler class. Well, this whole grid thing is like separate from the scrolling aspect of it, but like this is just something I coded up where like it's taking the up and down inputs, or in the case of the horizontal cyclers that I might have left and right inputs, and then it's like selecting one of those options, and if you go past it, then it wraps around, and then they all inherit from a behavior where when you hit select on them, then they just do something according to the input that's checked. You know what I wish was like, other than having this class name at the top, if you forget to put that, it's kind of hard to tell what script you're on. Oh no, wait, maybe it's not. No, it's right here. I keep missing it though. Right, so we got H cycler and then V cycler. Okay, so we got up, down, left, and right. Um, it's going to depend on the number of columns. Okay, you can't just have a selected index. It's like you're gonna have to assign. And then the question is like, where is the best place to assign that, I suppose. So if this is a grid cycler, can I say columns? Okay. A grid cycler is just going to be a grid container, or I'll put that script on grid container, so it'll have access to its own number of columns and then its own number of elements. So the behavior in each of these blocks will be different. They're not going to just increment and decrement, but okay, left and right is probably easier because that's column. Yeah, if you press left and right. Oh wait, do these have? I need to figure out what the index is here. Okay, wait. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it does go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So left and right will increase by 1 and decrease by 1, but then the mod would be different. Okay, yeah, so left and right would be mod, but not the total number of children. It would just be columns. Columns is not declared in the current scope, so trying to remember how you do it. If you know that it has a columns property because you're going to put it on here. Okay, I guess maybe I can just assign that to the grid container now and then oh, okay, maybe that is it. Hmm. No, that wouldn't be it. I think you just want to access like this node dot columns because then it will trust that you have columns. Did I do that wrong? Ah, right. You can get away with anything as long as you just say, this is a node. Um, so the number, okay, so if you go down from 0, you end up at 2, which is just the number of columns. So your plus equal and minus equal the number of columns. And but then the mod is the number of rows, which might not be the same in every column. Well, if okay. I mean, it would be essentially the number of children divided by the number of rows, but I have to think about whether that would work. Like, let's say you have a 4x4 box and you have 16, and then you have the 17th um, element. Does that work? Um, because this addition and subtraction work, but it's how do you mod it at the end, where it's like if you're on the 17th element and you go down, you want to end up at 0. If you're on, I need pen and paper actually. I'm gonna need pen and paper for that. I only have 2 columns, but I want this to be genericized. So you would have, oh, how close can I get without green screening myself out? Is this reversed? Oh no, you can read it. So yeah, 1 through 16 in a 4x4 grid, and then 17. If you go down, you're adding the number of columns. So 0 to 4 to 8 to 12. That number should be 16 at the bottom. Because you have 4 columns, you're adding 4. And then if you go left and right, you're adding 1. Or subtracting 1. And oh, this mod does not work. Like you're doing that, I think, on the the first row, but you also want to keep on the row that you're on. Yeah, you can send me that on Discord if that's easier. Okay, you got a scroll. What do I got? You have scroll container, and then a grid container, and then all your elements. Okay. Get rid of the V box. Oh, okay. This might be confusing. This is a scroll container. Is this what you're talking about? Because that's a scroll container, but I changed the type, so it didn't change the name. This is what you have, right? It was a V scroll thing, and then I changed the type, but it kept the same name. Yeah, I get what you mean though. Yeah, right now I'm trying to figure out the math, and it's this shouldn't be too hard, but I'm like talking at the same time. Um, I'm trying to remember because I usually just do the modulo operator a lot of the time, but I'm trying to remember pos mod. I believe yeah, it's just like the modulo that you expect where you like can't get a negative number, I think. And then right, so the selected index, and then it's what are you modding by, which is I said length of children, but that's when it's all in one linear row. Um, if you want to go from 14 back to 2, then it's um, let's see. You can get the number of children, you can get the columns. It'd just be easier to store this. Or not store, but just get a function. Right. So the current column should be the mod of the current index times the number of columns, right? So if you're on 15, you're on row 3 and you have 4 and you subtract 12 and you end up with 3. The current row is well, let me spell this out for myself here. That's just Florida view. So yeah, like 15 divided by 4 is like 3 and a remainder, and then you drop the remainder. Right. Okay. So yeah, columns is easy. No, well, even okay, if you have one element and you have 2 columns, then you don't want to treat it as if it's 2. And then if you have like a hanging element on the bottom row, then you don't want to mess with that either. Um, okay. Thank you, Machine Angels. Take a look at that. I think I am going to take a quick bathroom break just for a minute. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Oh, this is covered up with my screen here. I meant to say funk, but it says fuck selected. Not quite what I meant. So I think there's two edge cases I need to handle. If it's on an unfilled last row, well, no, if it's all on the unfilled last column, that's not actually the best way to describe it. If it, because of the way it's going to fill up, it would be on the unfilled last row. Actually, that might just affect its behavior. That's all I need, actually. Because if it was like this, where you have 17 elements, like a 4x4 and then an extra one, that would have the same problems as if it was just one or two elements in a row of four. Right? Because that's all I need to know. And then, but I do need to handle how you move left and right and how you move up and down. Because up and down, you treat it as if it has like a half row. And that tells you how much to mod by. And then if you move left and right, you just want to move to the beginning of that row. So you want to detect that. Okay, so if you want to know the number of children, maybe that's minus the number of columns. So, like, let's say 17 minus 4 would be 13. Well, the square of it would be, or not square, but the number of columns. Okay, well, first, so there is an unfinished column would be if the length of children, mod the number of columns does not equal 0, then we have an unfinished column. I could do and, but we'll just do another if for now. And then if, oh god, because you want to do greater than that, so like, greater than the last filled row. The last filled row would be finding the last filled row if you don't know how many rows you have. I'm like blanking. I think I need to think about this. Let me just path for now. I need to make sure I can even check if it's correct, because right now, like, this is not going to be automatically filled with my item buttons, but I need it to be, because I need to switch everything over. Like, yeah, how much of this is similar? Oh, okay, yeah, so that's different. Okay, grid cycler menu. But this, it should actually extend grid cycler menu. It should have its own script. We'll call this item grid. Okay, so select is not found in grid container, but it should be found in oh, wait, my bad. It's not grid container. Grid cycler menu. And then, okay, so take the super select, which I believe is here. Okay, so just hides or shows the selector. That's fine. If it's visible in tree and the length of children is greater than 0, I get the description box label, although I think that's, if I have it inside the scroll container, it's a little bit different. It's possible that I should have put the script up here, but anyway. Yeah, that's one more layer up. Input item name equals get children selected index dot item name, load it, activate. Oh, you know what? This would be actually easier if I do put it on the same level. So the scroll container is like right where that item scroll container. It just will save me a headache if it's on the same level in the tree as the other one. But we'll detach that. We'll attach a script here. It's just when we populate it, we're not populating this, we're populating the item grid. But that should be the only thing that changed, because this, now all of these targets should be correct. And I don't have to have that headache. But yeah, I mean, it should be similar. Item scroll container. Item cycler. Did I just copy that? I actually need to copy this. Okay, those should be the same script. All right. But then this one, I have show on startup and show on cleanup. That was like a workaround I had to make that was a bit messy. Godot showing its young age or me showing my inexperience. This show on startup and show on cleanup is because I had like a cleanup function. If I cancel out of a menu that is populated with items, not like pre-made buttons, but like populated with items or skills from a list based on like which character you have selected or just what's in your inventory. At a cleanup that might delete all of them, and then like when you reload it would like refresh, because it can change. If you use an item, the list is going to change. If you pick a different character, your skill list is going to change. So the menu should clean itself up and then refresh itself. But then I'd have certain things like, because when I'm cleaning up, it's like for every child in this node, like deleted if it's, but only deleted if it's not kept on cleanup. So like this skill cycler, or there's certain like nodes that I had to clean up and then other nodes I didn't have to clean up. So then I had to have a flag that was like clean it up, but then it deleted everything, and I'm like, okay, no, don't clean it up if I don't want you to clean it up. And then I had to have like another flag for show on startup, I guess. I don't know which ones don't. Oh, okay. No, this is an example. When I activate the skill menu, I want to see all the skills right away, but I guess I don't want to see the description box right away or something. Oh, the item confirm menu. Okay, so the confirm menu is when you select it, and then there's like it's not much of a menu, but it's like other elements start popping into place, and then you activate that UI where you actually confirm that that is what you want to do. Do I use signals for this? No, I should. It's kind of what Godot is all about, but I'm so used to making direct calls to specific locations and functions that I just track the path up the tree, and I should. No, not even. I have a like an update views function that will like reach in and like I actually wrote down all of everywhere it's supposed to go. Update views should be a signal. It should signal to everything that wants to update its views. But no, that would be too smart for me. That's what Godot is all about. Is its signal system, and why am I not using that? I don't know. I'm just too used to doing it a certain way. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, for that specifically, there is absolutely no reason I'm not using for updating views. Like, I guess I kind of thought of it as like um tracking my calls to specific locations or whatever and having it like written in stone. I guess I thought of the signals as being more, maybe there's a more of a game with objects that are interacting and they might just go and process and do things. I don't know, like not a physics type game, but like more a game with more autonomous agents that they need to just signal and like send out like, hey, I just did a thing. But for UI 2, I should have been like, you're right. um Yeah. I think for signals, I was just like so not used to coding that way, but games are games are very different than. Well, I mean, they're a very different industry for sure, but I mean, not that I have much experience in like that either. But yeah, I mean, making a game versus your college projects where you know exactly like what you're calling and when, because it's not very complicated, is completely different. I would build this. This is I'm making my first game as like the game I want to make right now, and it's an RPG, and those are hard. Um, if I were to do it now, I would probably build a lot of infrastructure for it a lot differently, which is why they tell you not to make giant games as your first game. Not that like I think because the reason I heard a lot when people tell you that advice is that like if you can't um see yourself finish something, you're gonna get demotivated. So you should start with a small project and whatever. And I skipped that because I'm like, I'm going to keep doing it anyway. I'm just happy to make the type of game I want to make. But I think the also important, although that is good advice just about like motivation, um, is if I would have even done like a couple of months of this and then um, started a fresh project, I would have known to set certain things up from the beginning that are kicking my ass now. And now it's like I'm not getting demotivated to do the project. Um, I'm more motivated than I have been in a while. And it doesn't matter that I haven't finished a smaller project or like put up smaller games, but it's just something I have to deal with. Like I'm gonna have to refactor it and fix it. Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. I'm seeing it more now that I'm like, wish I would have set up a framework for even um like settings. I have it playing at a certain resolution that's like it's kind of just locked to this, but like I don't even know my UI well enough to like if I change the resolution, it won't scale the correct way. It'll just be something that like you play at this resolution and it like plays in the box, and it's like I would have to rewrite a lot of stuff to or like learn how to do that properly. I have it so like I can resize the window. Well, the OBS is different than the actual window, but like if I do this on my actual window on my computer, like it scales and it looks like this, but um actually changing the resolution throws all of the UI out of whack. And I'm sure that a real game would want real settings. Audio has there's no audio in my game. It's not set up, which I guess is an opportunity to do that from scratch because there's nothing in there that's broken yet. And then started working on a little bit of a save file system, although there's like so much more information that needs to go into it now. Yeah, but I mean, even stuff like when I'm thinking of a settings menu, I'm like, I don't know how to do like a colorblind setting. Which like, does that mean I put that switch in a settings menu, and then does that mean that like I have to? check that and like load different graphics based on that, or is there some way of like just like putting a colorblind filter over your game? Yeah, true. All right, so we're checking here. So I guess the only difference is instead of so I'm if the selected index on the player control panel is the items button, then I'm loading up this button. That should all stay the same. And then instead of adding it to the cycler, I would add that child to this grid. Clean up the parent. You select okay, the select is actually going to be different. Well, let's populate it for now. I can just delete these. Just save all scenes. Yeah, I think a lot of those features are like a big consideration that you need to do from the beginning, but like that specifically feels like you can filter for it. Although I'm sure big studios probably have like a lot of custom behavior where it's like they don't just filter it, they have um like you want to test your UI and your icons and everything and make sure it's like readable in like a colorblind mode. So I'm sure there's like maybe you can filter a lot of it, but then like maybe just the environments and the models are like color shifted, but then UI you would maybe have to completely redo to make sure it's like really, really good. But then it would be more than like I feel like that's what a big studio would do because you would have to test it with colorblind people to make sure it works, not just like check the box. Because I mean, assuming you're not colorblind, like you would not know. Oh, cannot find base class grid cycler menu. Oh, do I? That's strange because I do have it. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I might need to reload my Godot because it's saying it's not seeing certain things it should. Um, let me just not doing anything in here, but I'll reload it. Yeah, I do have pop-up. I just have like the default Twitch ones for now, but they're on. Hmm. What's this thing? It can't see H cycler menu. Hmm. Yeah, there's a few that popped up earlier when we got the raid, but want to make some maybe custom ones eventually. I thought about just like grabbing a GIF from like a game. Like I thought a fun idea for a raid was just found a GIF of like Advance Wars where like a plane was like coming in and attacking the enemy units. I'm like, oh, that'd be a funny one for a raid. I'm like, am I allowed to do that? Nintendo. Probably probably the answer is just no, you're not allowed, but like would anyone give a shit? Uh yeah, I think I TBD gamer followed, it says. Maybe I talked to maybe. I don't think I noticed that they followed actually. If they're still here, I don't know if they are. Thank you for the follow. And Kisamius. Um I think I am probably gonna have to end within like 20 minutes, but I'm either doing I don't know if I'm streaming tomorrow. I'm either doing a stream tomorrow or the next day. Definitely not Friday. I could do both day. I could do Wednesday and Thursday. I'll do one for sure. Not Friday though. I know I can't. Um, and yeah, right, like 20 minutes. But right now. It's a little bit of me just scratching my head because I'm trying to figure out why this can't extend H cycler menu. I'll try to do Thursday. I might do Wednesday anyway, but I'll try to do Thursday then if I know you're gonna be here. Or either like no pressure. Like if I think you might be here, then I'll try to hit Thursday. Yeah, I reloaded my project, but I've had that before. I might just close down Godot and then see if it helps. I'm still getting that. I need to reload my view for OBS, but this might be something I have to figure out off stream. Um, should probably be there while I'm in studio mode. Um, yeah, it is very strange. Yeah, I don't know. Thursday is my most likely day to do it anyway, because if I do tomorrow, that'd be 3 days in a row, and then I'd still want to do Thursday, which would be 4 days in a row. So I might take a break tomorrow and then do Thursday. I feel like when I get can't find base class for a base class that does definitely exist. I've had that before where it's like something somewhere I messed up and it's not compiling, but the cycler menus I believe are the only ones I've just changed. I'm not really sure why. Oh wait, what is this? I don't I don't think I saw that before. Can I just jump to the superclass definition? Perfect. I didn't know I could do that. The little blue arrow. No, it's not working now, and I'm not sure why. Um, because that would happen maybe if like H cycler menu wasn't compiling. Hmm. Although, okay, so it normally is in green text. Well, for me, for this beam I'm using, if it's correct. Did I change cycler menu in a way that it doesn't like? I didn't even change cycler menu. Hmm. Yeah, it's a little odd. Wait, what did I assign to this? This is item scroll container. And then it extends grid cycler menu. Grid cycler menu seems okay. H cycler menu seems screwed, but why? It's just a variation on V cycler menu, and I didn't change it. Oh, okay. It was like crashing at like as soon as I launched the game when I hit the play button, and that crashed Godot. But then I hit the reload instead, and now it's not. Okay. So what I should see is that the and this is going to be out of place, but oh no, okay. Attempt to call function in base null instance on a null instance. Oh, okay. Wait. Cycler menu when it wants to select. Right, because I might have put it on something that doesn't have a selector yet, because it's going to be arranged differently with like that child grid on it. Okay, so player camera moved, then I rolled for encounter, and then the cycler menu was ready, so it tried to select the item scroll container right here, and its function was select, but the item scroll container does not have, or its children don't have selectors because it is not being populated with those buttons. The grid is, so I just need to change that. So it's selected super. Oh, the super would be for the cycler menu for child and get children. Okay. I'm just gonna have to override it. Or not override it even. It's already overwritten. I just need to not call the super. Okay, so for child in item grid, get children. What am I doing wrong here? Okay. Expected indent block. Oh, right. This is just not indented. Standalone lambdas cannot be accessed. Oh, okay. I copied the function declaration. Oh. Okay, so child.getNode, selector.hide. Okay, so they have selectors. See, this was a thing where like I had a just an arrow that was like the selector where it was like pointing at which one you have selected. And I should have made that its own method where it's like I can just implement it custom with an animation because now I'm going in and replacing them all. So instead of selector.hide, the child should just have a method that's like deselect, because the default here is to try to hide some node called the selector, which might just be an arrow, but it's like instead of just hiding it, I might actually want to do an animation of some kind. So a lot of stuff, it's like the like super class had a very, very simple behavior, and now I'm like trying to like overwrite it or make it custom. But it should have just called down to I should write it like an API more, but huh. I was in a bit of a rush to get to stream today. I literally just noticed as I'm about to end it soonish that I did not change the title at all, but it's pretty close. It's still UI. Okay, and then this one, uh, if selected index is okay, I think every reference to children is going to be the selected index of that item grid children, and then this is get children, and then that's get children, and if it's visible in the tree, and the length is within this get children. Maybe it would have been easier to attach that script to the grid, but then you have to like change its targets. Whatever, that might work. No, see, there's pixel art. This stream has pixel art. Don't leave. See? Well, I did it yesterday. Wait, it's not my pixel art, but it's the background. I replaced the background of the stream. Some website. Let me remind myself of the name. Craft Pix. It's a pixel art resource. They like reached out to me on Blue Sky, and they're like, "Hey, if you ever want to use our pixel art for your video, if you're ever running out of ideas, you can use our pixel art. We have like packages for bloggers and stuff like that." And I was like, I'm pretty stubborn about making everything myself, so probably not gonna necessarily use the pixel art. Maybe if I was gonna do like a game jam and I didn't have time to do graphics, or if I was gonna do another video just on pixel art in general. But I noticed they had backgrounds on the website, and I'm like, I might grab me one of those because my old background was some art from Magic the Gathering, one of the cards. And I'm like, I am not allowed to use that. And these are free use, so yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I thought like, if there's anything that fits, and it's like I would love to enter a game jam. Um, even as like a little break from this, or like something that would just be interesting to watch. streaming a game jam sounds like fun. I don't know if I could commit like whatever it is, 2 days straight to it. And I'm not even fast at doing this, but it would help focus on mechanics because I do bounce between like code and art, and then I'm like sometimes I forget what I was doing on one side. What was I doing here? Okay. Okay, that capture is not. I might be setting all this up and then it doesn't actually work because I was kind of haphazardly changing things, but remove that and then go back to opening that up. Okay, if I go into battle, it should populate that menu with a bunch of different buttons for the items. No, it crashed. All right, get out of bounds index 0. Item grid dot get children 0. Huh. Why did I not populate it? So I rolled for encounter, which means I must have gotten into a battle. And cycler menu ready, and then at function select. So this. Oh, wait. So it's only supposed to populate if I hit the items button. So then I need to figure out why it was trying to populate it, or why I was trying to access it at the beginning of battle. That's what I need to do. Because it's here. Item scroll container. Oh, maybe that was one of the reasons I want to not show it on startup. Is that? Oh no, but the cyclers are, so that's not it. Let's see. If it's visible in tree. Oh no, wait. When did I select? Ready. Cycler menu ready. Okay. If it's ready, then I select immediately, which usually means if it's visible in tree and the length of children is greater than 0. And then I overwrote that. So it should have called the select function if it's visible in tree and the length is get children is greater than 0. Oh, right. Its length of children is greater than 0. It contains 1. It contains the item grid, but I'm supposed to. This is one more place where I was supposed to reference that. Got it. Nailed it. Oh. Did it crash or is it loading? No, it's loaded. Okay, that was strange. Okay. This might actually be something to check out. Okay, if I hit the item menu, we should have something like in the middle of the screen that has a list of like 20 items. because I want to make sure that that grid is populated before I make it act like a grid and scroll and all that. Perfect. That's step one. Like, okay, so we switched it over from the old item menu to this. And it's actually only showing part of them, which is what we wanted, right? If we go back to here, well, it's not populated, but the size of it was like accommodating 6 rows. So that's what we were trying to do. And now I just need to, so the item scroll container. Wait, can I tab through this? No. Selecting it doesn't seem to do anything yet, but it populates. I can't even see the selector on the left side because it's being cut off, and I need to adjust that. Okay. Well, that's step one. I think I do have to end stream. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Everybody who's here. I know Machine Angels is here. I don't know who else is still watching, but thank you all. And yeah. Most likely Thursday. If I do tomorrow, it'll be an extra one, and I know that Machine Angels can't make it that time. But if I do tomorrow, it'll be an extra one. And Thursday is planned. Friday is impossible. And then it'll have to be Monday after that. All right. Thank you for being here. It's been fun. And we're going to do it again. And this game is going to get made. See ya.